We're on. All right. Today we are talking all things electrolytes. Liam Mosley. I want to know, what are electrolytes, mate? Tell me what they are.
I don't know. I guess they're part of what you need to fuel it. So sodium is a big one, and then there's also like potassium, magnesium. But sodium's really the big one that you pay attention to, and so salt. And I guess I don't know.
Yep. Now, hit the nail on the head, mate. So we've got sodium, calcium, potassium, magnesium, and there's like chloride as well, but they sort of link in with sodium. But as you said, man, like sodium is the only real one that we care about in triathlon. You can lose others through training, like magnesium and stuff like that, but it's so insignificant. And the one that we really want to focus on is sodium. So that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about today. Hello, Taj. Welcome, mate. I can't hear you.
How you going?
You're on mute. There you go.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome, mate.
What's going on, boys?
Not a lot, mate. We're just trying to debunk some myths about electrolytes here, all right?
Wait, Keen.
Cool. So, sodium is the main one that we're going to talk about today. And I really want to start this. Like, I am by no means an expert in this field, but I've done a fair bit of research and put a lot of things into practice. So I've got a bit of knowledge on it, but take everything I say today with a pinch of salt, pun intended. There may be some things that I haven't quite got right, but we'll just sort of fizzle out and try and learn all together. So, how do we think that, how do electrolytes, or specifically sodium, how do they serve us as a triathlete or an endurance athlete rather? Finn, you might want to chime in here and give me what your thoughts.
Well, basically, from what I know, they're just really important in just like general muscle function. So like how your nerves can send signals and your muscles can function well. Sort of without them, you don't have full control over your muscle. So it's really important. And yeah.
Sodium specifically, what is sodium doing in the body? It's keeping the fluid in the bloodstream so that it can be sent to everywhere in the body, right? If we don't have enough sodium in it, then that fluid is going to be released through urine, and then it's not getting taken to everywhere that needs to go in the body. So that's essentially what's happening with sodium. We're going to look at mainly sodium today, but if we don't have enough of it, we're just going to keep pissing out the water, and then everything that we need to function, all our muscles aren't getting the right blood, all the stuff that we need. So that's what it's actually doing, right? Does anyone know who here is taking electrolytes outside of training? Let's just put training aside for now. Is anyone taking electrolytes like every day?
No.
Okay, cool. That's good. When we are talking about training now, who knows how much electrolytes they are taking, or specifically sodium? So Taj, for example, go.
On my long rides on the weekend, I'll put a quarter teaspoon, I think, of sodium in my bottle, each bottle, which I think is like maybe 250 mg of sodium, roughly. That's all I do, and I just put salt in my food. That's it.
And how long was that training session? Sorry, man.
Oh, that's for like my long rides.
Yeah.
So that's like, I think I have two bottles, so that's 500 mg of sodium.
Okay. So for something like a 3-hour ride, 500 milligrams.
Yeah.
Sodium. All right.
Yeah.
And all right, sweet. Finny, what are you doing at the moment, and what did you used to do actually? Because you're an interesting one. You've sort of been looking at this a little bit lately. What did you used to do before you started researching it all?
So I used to be in that like everyday hydration train, I was into like the electrolyte tabs every day. And I was just pumping them all the time, but they're super expensive. They cost so much money. So now just like on a daily basis, I feel like my diet covers it. If I feel like I've had a really big day, I might just put a bit of extra salt in my food or something. But generally, I think I'm pretty good throughout the week. But on the weekends, I might supplement with a little electrolyte tab, or even like half a teaspoon of salt I think a full teaspoon is like 2.5 1,000 milligram, 2,500 milligrams. So I might have a full or a half, and that should completely cover it for me. So I'm not really spending any money on it anymore because I don't see the point. And normal table salt does the job for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, so I'm in the same boat. We're going to dive into that a little bit more soon. Do you know, or do you have an idea of what and it's we can dive into like it's different for everyone, but as a general rule, how much sodium do you think someone should be taking? Let's talk about training for a minute. Let's talk about someone doing like let's just call it an Ironman. Let's say I'm doing an Ironman in 10 hours, right? How much sodium do you think I should have?
So probably if you're doing something like an Ironman, which is like all day, you're gonna be like using all your reserves, all of your sodium. I'd be like sort of preloading for that as well. So I'd be starting off with like 1,000 milligrams before the swim, and then like every hour trying to maintain 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams each hour, making sure it's stacked up. But you need to pair that with fluid as well. If you're not pairing that with enough fluid, it won't do you any good.
All right. What's the risk of having too little or too much? So let's start with too little. Is there any risk of having too little sodium for an Ironman?
Yeah, for sure. So that's sort of what happened to you at your first Ironman. You just hit that wall. You might become super nauseous. Heat stroke comes in. Your heart rate will spike. Your body just starts shutting down. It's not
And
working.
what happens is like when you're not having enough sodium or you haven't planned enough sodium, you sorry, there's someone next to me here. I'm in the hotel lobby here. Yeah, so if you haven't had enough, you might start to think, oh, I'm dehydrated, right? So then you start reaching for water and trying to drink that. What's actually happening is you're diluting the amount of sodium that's in your blood anyway, by having just more water. So it's actually worse for you if you're already low on sodium. And that's exactly what happened to me at Cairns. I only planned about 2,500 milligrams of sodium for my entire race. And then as soon as all of that was gone, I didn't understand that I needed more sodium. So I just kept drinking water and it kept diluting worse and worse. And I was just completely fucked. So it's really not dangerous, I don't think is the right word. It can be really dangerous, but it's for performance, it's bad to have lower sodium during a race. However, 1,500 milligrams per hour is a lot. Like I think that it is above where almost anyone would need to be, even if you are one of the saltiest sweaters in the world. I think that a very safe amount, and this is what I did at Busso, is aim for 1,000 milligrams per hour. And I don't think, unless you're at Kona, maybe a little bit more, unless you're in really like humid conditions, maybe a little bit more. But I think that that's a really safe amount is 1,000 milligrams per hour. Now, it's a lot better to have overs with sodium than it is to have unders. It's a lot less risk. So if you're ever thinking like, oh, I'm trying to plan out my race, having overs is always going to be less risk than having unders. So you might bump it up to that, 1,200, 1,500, whatever it may be. The only real thing that's going to happen, I think, when you have overs is you're going to get thirsty and you're going to drink more water, and that can sometimes create like sloshiness or bloating in your stomach, but it's way better than hitting that bonking feeling. All right. So for everyone, if you're planning a race, try to aim for that sort of 800 to 1,000 milligrams per hour, and you'll be safe. And then you might be thirsty a little bit, but you drink, and if your body can, then you'll be sweet. Let's talk about it though as like a daily thing. Like I mean, no one here said that they're having electrolytes daily, but please, like Finn said, you can supplement, like you can get all the sodium that you need from just adding a bit of extra salt to your food. All of the foods that we're eating have so much sodium in them, man. So you don't need to just keep buying it, and supplementing each day. Cool. Where are we going with this? Cramping. Talk to me about cramping. Who cramps during training?
Only during racing, I think. Yeah.
Every now and then I'll cramp at the pool, like some random muscle will hit me up and say, "What's going on?"
Just give you a buzz.
Foot cramps in the pool, I get them occasionally, but otherwise, no.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. That's really good to hear, actually, because I think a lot of people, especially in triathlon, do cramp. Do we think sodium plays a factor in cramps?
Well, no one else is going to answer.
It's tricky, man.
I feel like it does play a role, but very much insignificantly than like what we're told. I feel like if you're extremely salt deprived, sodium deprived, then it might start playing a role, but more or less it's just how well your muscles trained, how well you've trained it for the volume you're doing in like a race or everyday use, stuff like that. So it's usually, I feel like it's caused by like muscle fatigue or undertraining.
100%. I've done a bit of research into it and listened to a few podcasts and stuff, and there is a possibility that it contributes. But like you said, the spasm of a muscle cramp, it's happening because the muscle isn't trained, essentially, like you said. So I would highly recommend having a electrolytes and sodium plan for the race, but I wouldn't rely on that if you start to cramp. People have talked about pickle juice before as a way to help with cramps. Now, pickle juice is an interesting one because it's not actually the sodium that's going to help you, but what's happening in a muscle cramp is the nerve signals aren't like the central nervous system isn't working to that muscle, and it's involuntarily like squeezing and tensing, right? And then if you have pickle juice, because it's like a funny flavor that not most people aren't really used to, it sort of resets the central nervous system for a moment, and then that can contribute to getting control of that muscle again. That's why it sometimes helps with a cramp. Now, it doesn't work for everyone because some people are just different, but in some cases, it has proven, especially in some tests that I've looked into, it's actually helped. So if you want to carry some pickle juice on a race, great, but it's very likely that if you start to cramp, you take pickle juice, it might release it, but then if you keep going at the same intensity in the race, you're going to start cramping again. And there's only so much pickle juice you can keep having, right? So just keep that in mind. It might be a short-term fix if it's worth carrying for the last like sort of 5Ks. If you're worried about getting to the end, great. But I wouldn't have it as like as a fix to fix all, right? Yeah, cool.
There is also this thing called Cramp Fix, which it's just from Woolworths and it's pretty cheap, and it's just like a spray in your mouth, and it does help. It's actually really good.
In your mouth?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it'll be doing the exact same thing. Does it taste a bit funny?
it tastes horrible, but it's better than like a full shot of pickle juice because the pickle juice is like a couple of shots from the ones that I've seen. So it's less that you have to intake. It's just like you do like 3 sprays in your mouth.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, I think that's worth having if you like. It'll be doing the exact same thing, sort of resetting that central nervous system. But yeah. Who's any questions or anything we want to debunk and chat about?
I had a question. I know Finn, you brought up about preloading electrolytes, and like I know that people do that. I just like don't understand the benefits of like overloading electrolytes prior to the race. So I don't know if you had more info on that, because I do that, but I don't know why I do it. I just do it because everyone else does it. So
Yeah, it's not something I do. So Finn, take it away here.
Well, I'm a bit on two sides here. Like, your body actually has like no electrolyte storage. So like unlike like sugar and stuff, your body has amount of storage where it can store it all. So I think preloading for me is more just making sure I have all the electrolytes in my system before the race. So it's just maybe gives me peace of mind. But if you know you haven't been spreading heaps before the race or like you've been eating salty foods and stuff, I don't think it's super necessary. So I think it's just
yeah,
more on an individual basis.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, like in that case, like could you just take the electrolytes in the morning of the race, or ideally you don't want to be drinking like that much liquid before the start of the race, because if you're taking them before, then it wouldn't be that much benefit if there's no way of storing it.
100%. Yeah, I think have your normal diet throughout the day in the lead up to a race. You'll be carb loading as well, so you'll be having lots of food. It might be like, yeah. So for example, I will have a heap of chips for the race, heaps of carbohydrates. I might pick a packet of salt and vinegar chips. Is that your Liam? Can you just just making a funny sound? Cheers, man. Yeah, so I might pick a salt and vinegar chips, and they've got sodium in it. Great, like I've got some there, but I'm not surplusing. I'm not adding any extra electrolytes. I'm just having what's in my carb load and normal. And then in the morning when I wake up, I'm having like a Gatorade or something that's getting me carbs, is getting me electrolytes. But I wouldn't go and put like 1,000 milligrams of extra electrolytes into that Gatorade to really bump up the numbers. I would just base off a number, pick a number somewhere between 800 to 1,200 milligrams, and then just try and consistently hit that every hour of my race. Now, if Daniel was on this call from Metric Fuel for a half Ironman, he'd be saying like, you don't need that. Like you really don't need that. You could probably get by with like 1,000 or 2,000 milligrams for the entire race, because you're not gonna deplete all of the sodium in that 5-hour period, right? But it becomes way more important for Ironman. It really does. If you don't get it in at Ironman, you're gonna bonk, and it's gonna ruin your race. So I think that it doesn't require, electrolytes don't require anywhere near as much attention as what the big companies will put out to you. But for Ironman, it's just something that you really do need to nail. Any other questions, Kano, Liam?
Hey, mate. I did. Yes, I am sitting in the bottom of my shower. That's why I had my video off. I'm just sitting in a cold shower when I got home. So, yeah, I was doing my run today, and I had I just like went and stopped and got like a full sugar Powerade. And I was thinking, is it more the sugar or the Powerade that helps you, like, or the electrolytes that helps you if you have one on a run?
Great question. Absolutely great question. Electrolytes are not fuel at all. There is no energy that you will get from electrolytes. Okay. So when people say, oh, I've gone out from a park run, I had my electrolytes before and I've smashed it, you're not getting any energy whatsoever from electrolytes. So what's going to actually move your body is going to be the carbohydrates from that Powerade. The electrolytes help the system work well. It's like, imagine, let's try and use an analogy of a car. I don't know if this will work, but we'll try it. Imagine that you've got a car. The carbohydrates are the fuel, and then the electrolytes are making the whole system work. So it might be like the oil, say, right? The electrolytes are the oil, and they're making sure that the car works in a way and that it can use the fuel correctly and the body can move in the way that it's meant to move. But if you were to go out and do a long run and only use electrolytes, your body will run out of carbohydrates and it will not have any energy, right? Or you'll be just burning fat, which is really slow burning, and then it's just like you're sluggish and slow. So it is absolutely, what's more important is what we talked about last week, is the fueling. You need to nail that. And then this is like you need to get this right as well. But if without this, you're fucked. Okay. So yeah. Good question though. I really like it. Well done.
Kind of had like something off that because you mentioned like the sugar, like because they do offer like this full sugar Coke at each aid station.
Yep.
No, this is derailing the question, but
No, let's do it.
just to do with, because I find that I get a lot of benefit from having the Coke at the aid stations.
Yeah.
But that's just like, I don't know, I'm assuming that's just through just like the sugar sources and just like getting a bit more like energy into your body.
Yep. I reckon Coke's doing 3 things when you're in a race. It's giving you fuel, so it's giving you sugar, which is you can use as energy. It's giving you caffeine, which is going to reduce your perceived effort. And it's giving you a psychological gain because you know what Coke tastes like and you like it, right? So you're like, oh, yummy, Coke. That makes me feel better, right? That's the 3 things that Coke's doing. And I would highly, highly recommend, especially late in the runs, that you have Coke, 100%.
Yeah, do you recommend, just late in the run? Because I find also you become a bit more thirsty, so you're like chasing water as well when you're having the Coke. So it's like, Is it something that it's like very, very late stages of in a half, maybe like the last 8 to 9 Ks or so, you could start taking it, and then for a full, I don't know, the last 20, last half.
Yeah, I wouldn't base it off a number or a time in the run. What I would base it off is when you need it. So I would have a fueling strategy that you're trying to work to, whether it's, a certain amount of water, a certain amount of electrolytes, a certain amount of fuel, gels, and things like that you're working towards. And then the moment you get to the point where you're like, I'm fatiguing, I'm feeling like shit, grab a Coke. And then that'll perk you up a little bit. I don't rely on Coke as well. I've got caffeine gels myself because the Cokes only have a small amount compared to what I will use, but you need to train that in training. But like, have a strategy, and then when you're starting to get to a point where you're like, fuck, a Coke would be nice, go and grab a Coke. It doesn't have to be a certain, I can't have it until lap 35 or whatever. Just go and grab it when you'll know. That's the other thing with sodium as well. If you're having sodium, you obviously need to balance it with fluid. You need to have the right amount of fluid to that sodium. And a lot of people will go out. I think Finn actually sent me a question about, like, how do you know how much fluid you're losing? You can go and do a test for like an hour where you'll learn how much fluid you're dropping. But and that if you are really into like your numbers and your math and everything like that, and you love data, go and do it. But otherwise, drink to thirst, man. Like, if you're having the right or close to the right amount of sodium and then you're drinking to thirst, you'll be sweet. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate that. Similar with the Coke, if you're getting to a point where you're like, fuck, I'm feeling fatigued, I want a Coke now, go and grab it then, right? Listen to the body. Don't overthink it. Don't try and go too deep into absolutely nailing every single number, because I think the body's really good at telling you what it needs.
Yeah, cool.
Question here: has anyone ever done a sweat test? No. Okay.
I saw them at Busso Ironman when I was spectating. I think Precision Fuel had a tent there and they were doing them. I actually don't know exactly how they're done, but there was a lot of needles involved and people sitting on the couch getting bloods taken or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've never done one either. I think I will at some point to debunk this myth, because I have many people in triathlons that have said to me, "Oh, I'm a salty sweater." And when I learned about this, I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'm a salty sweater as well. Maybe I need more sodium." But imagine this situation. Right? If I go and do a sweat test today, where I've just had my normal diet, and it reads X amount of sodium that is in my system, and then tomorrow I do it at the exact same time. I go and do a sweat test, but I've had salt and vinegar chips. I've had like a really salty drink, and I've had this and that like a couple of hours before. The sweat test is going to read that I've got more. I'm a more of a salty sweater, right? Because my body's getting rid of that excess salt. So when somebody says to you they're a salty sweater, just assume that they had a fuckload of like salt before their test, because that's probably what's happened. In fact, I'm certain that's what's happened, right? So I think I'm gonna do a couple of tests. I'm gonna do one where I have like very limited salt, and then do another one where I've had lots of salt, and then sort of like put that out in socials and be like, look, so next time you say you're a salty sweater, that's why I like to work off a baseline, and I just go off 1,000 milligrams, because I like to be safe. I like to be a little bit over where I think I absolutely need. And it's just a nice round number as well. I don't have to it's not too hard to work off the math. But yeah, just keep that in mind if anyone's ever trying to sell you a sweat test, because I reckon it's just a money grab.
Yeah, but we'll wait till it comes up though, because what happens if you do two of them and then they come up exactly the same? You've already said it publicly now, so you're fucked.
Then you'll have to find a new coach, I guess. This one talks too much shit, apparently. But I'd be willing to bet my coaching abilities on that, because yeah, it's essentially it's common sense as well, is what it is.
I feel like Precision Fuel especially is like way over marketed, or just all the nutrition brands are so over marketed, like so expensive. Like half their brand is about sodium and stuff, and it's just like normal salt with a fancy name and a nice price tag, and they're sweat testing as well. I'm sure that would cost an arm and a leg to do.
Yeah, literally. And I don't think it's telling you anywhere near as much. I've just put it into the chat in here. I'll put it into the group chat on WhatsApp as well. It's a link to a podcast. It's called The Science of Cramp. And they talk a lot about sodium in that podcast. And I found it really insightful. So if you've got time and you want to go and jump on and have a listen to that, please do. I found it really interesting. I think you will as well. I'll put it into the other group chat after this as well. Any other questions, queries we want to debunk?
I do have a question about sweat testing, not so much the sodium side, but I'm curious if you think there's much value in doing a 1 hour test to see your fluid loss if you're a heavy, and if you try as best you can to control the temp and get an average, if that's worthwhile, so you know how much you should realistically try to aim to drink.
Yeah. I think you should do that purely for enjoyment. I think it would be really interesting to see, but I truly believe, man, that if you were to go and race, if you just have the mentality of I'm going to drink to thirst here, you'll be sweet. Like you'll absolutely nail your fluid intake. But I do think it'll be really interesting, and doing things for like that is super fun. So yeah, it's super easy to do as well. You pick an hour, you go out, you weigh yourself before, you weigh yourself after, whatever liquid that you did consume, if you consumed any at all, you add that to it, and then you work out how much you lost. It's pretty simple to work out. Fun to do, but like I didn't do it for Busso. I didn't do it for Cairns. Well, Cairns are fucked up anyway, but I definitely didn't do it for Busso, and didn't need it. Like I just drank. I literally the whole day I was just like, if I'm thirsty, I drink. I had a plan at the start of the bike to drink more, but that was just part of my plan, and I knew that. And then I just for the rest of the day I just drank to thirst. So cool. How's the show going, Kane?
Yeah, it's great. Fucking good day. But
Tell us all about your day there, Matt. I was pumping you up before you got on this call, and give us a wrap.
well, I had the 3.5 hour ride followed by the hour run, and I was like, oh yeah, so I got all my shit, got my honey sandwiches, got like all that kind of shit. One thing that did not go well was I was like, roll ups would be awesome. So I just like stole all my daughter's roll ups, and I was like, this would be a great idea. And then when I went to have them, they're just fucked, and I was like, yeah, that's a problem. So
You need
I
to
was like, I was just like grabbing some shit that was like, oh yeah, that'll be good, like some lollies or something, because I didn't have much like that was like proper lollies, but I thought, fuck it, roll up will be the best. Like, no. But I had enough for the ride, and the ride went well. And then I started doing the run, and I was just like, I got about halfway in, and I was saying to Alex, I'm like, I probably could have done with the diaper sponsor. And I was like, slight detour to Woolworths. And I got a Powerade, and then ended up getting back. But fuck, it was just so hot. Like, it's like 30,
4.5 hour day, mate. It's fucking big.
30, I was 34 degrees and just humid as shit. So I was like, it was supposed to be like cloudy, under 30, and I was like, this would be a good time to do it. Like, I'll make it back, can watch the UFC, then jump on the phone call, fuck the whole thing. So I was like, but the ride and the run itself were good. Just the timing, I messed up. But
You did very well, mate. Good stuff. Well, I thought Liam was going to say something. He came off mute there.
I was just gonna ask, hey, where are you? It's 34.
out like Box Hill in Sydney, so like out west. So was just, but I was like going down like the bike track. I don't know if you know the bike track that goes like all the way down the M7.
No.
Oh, you're in Melbourne,
you're doing Geelong, aren't you?
Yeah.
All three of you boys are doing Geelong. Maybe we can convince Finn to come over and watch.
Are we the film crew?
Oh, actually, fuck, I won't even be there. I'm doing T100. That sucks. I'm actually spewing about that. I kind of wish I was just racing Geelong now. It'd be so much more fun. All right. Well, I think I might stop the recording unless we've got other questions that anyone wants to bring up. I think we've got through like some good stuff. I kind of was hoping it would be a bit more free-flowy, but that's all right. Anything else you want to cover on electrolytes today?
I feel like you've done a pretty good job. I feel like you've covered like all the bases. Debunked a few things.
Maybe I'm actually just thinking, with training and taking electrolytes. I don't think we've covered that, but I know, considering like what we've said, it's probably not ideal to be taking anything under a certain amount of hours of training. But yeah, so just say for Kane's like session today, for example, like when would be a good time to be taking electrolytes, and would it be like toward the end of the bike or like before you start the run or?
Great question. So in Kane's situation today, I don't actually know exactly what you did. So this would be a good indication. I'll give you what I think, and then he can relay back to me. So he did a 3.5 hour bike and then an hour run. So it's a big session, and I would highly recommend having some electrolytes here, especially if it's 34, probably just to be safe, right? If you wanted to just keep to what your race day is going to be like and do 1,000 milligrams every hour, great, go and do that. It's not necessary. You would not need all of that because your body's not going to deplete it all by then. But in training, I'm a big advocate for practicing race day nutrition. And therefore, if you're mixing it into your carbohydrates, great. You're learning what that tastes like. You're getting used to it and everything, right? But an absolute essential, I would probably start with just taking 2,000 milligrams over the whole 4 hours, 4.5 hours. You would probably be safe with that. Maybe 2.5 if you wanted to be super safe, but you wouldn't need any more than that. Your body it wouldn't deplete enough. But yeah, as essentially, I would recommend as well just race day nutrition, practice it, just get into a habit of doing what you're going to do there. There's no risk. There's very little risk with having overs. So yeah, good job.
Yeah, and like, oh, sorry, you go, Finn.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, so like, when we're speaking about like 2,000, there's 2,000 milligrams of sodium, but do we also account for like potassium or magnesium and the losses of that, and like how important is that versus sodium loss? Because they're smaller quantities, I believe, like in electrolyte tablets and stuff. So
smaller quantities, but insignificant as well. Like,
yeah,
it's you're just not going to lose enough from that that's going to make a big change in your body. So like if you're having a banana, your potassium's covered well and truly, right? If you're having a steak, whatever, you're going to cover your magnesium. Like it's not going to affect you anywhere near what the sodium will affect you. So I wouldn't even think about it, to be honest with you. Yeah. I don't think about it when I'm training.
yeah,
And if you're using like a carb drink mix that has electrolytes in it, they usually contain like that small amount of magnesium and calcium stuff, so it's like more than enough to cover you.
Yeah, all your Gatorades and stuff will have it.
Yeah, I don't know if you agree with this, Alex, or not, but if you want like peace of mind, it doesn't hurt to have that electrolytes daily. Like if you want peace of mind, you can take it and it won't hurt you. It'll just hurt your bank. But it's not.
It's already hurting enough.
Yeah. This sport is crazy. It's so expensive.
I don't disagree with that. I definitely don't disagree with it, Finn. I think that sometimes placebo effect can work as well. And if you like something, if you like the taste of something and you want to have it for that, then go and have it. But it is not physiologically needed day to day. Not with the diets that we have these days. No.
Yeah, I made a video on this, and like a lot of people said, like I take hydration sticks each day, and like it makes me perform better. And like Alex is saying, I think that's placebo. But if you do think that and it gives you peace of mind, just do it. Take it. It does you no harm.
Every time I look at you, Kate, I just love to laugh, sit in the shower. Good Lord.
Well, to be fair, I didn't really think it through. I was like, I'll just sit in the shower. And then I had the shower going at the start of the call, and now I'm just fucking soaked. And I was like, nah, I can't go sit on the couch now. So
I'm going to
just commit to it.
I wouldn't put it in the big group chat. Maybe I'll put it in the Geelong chat. Kane sent me a photo out on his ride today. He's got these fucking aviator sunnies on. He's got a Collingwood jumper with like a...
yeah, it was fun.
I was like, dude, we're going to get you in some Lycra, man.
Dude, you know how much fucking money I'm already spending? Jesus Christ. I thought this shit was going to be cheap.
Tell me you got at least the Lycra pants with the padding, like surely.
Nah, I got fucking none of it, mate. I'm lucky I've got the bike.
You're raw dogging 3.5 hours on the bike with no padding. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
That's fucking these pants, brother.
Man,
No.
Not to
You need to
mention,
go to
I
a-
did a 2 hour bike yesterday, 2.5 hours the day before, and then like an hour 50 the day before that. So this is like my 4th bike day in a row with just no padding. So
I'm gonna
it makes more sense why I complain so much, doesn't it, Alex?
It definitely does. I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna because you just don't seem to be doing it. I will find you some links on Amazon to cheap bibs and cheap lycra that you can wear, and it will change your life, man. All right, it'll change your life. So, yeah, I'll get
So what
that.
you're saying is you don't like it?
No, I don't. It's not that I don't like it. I just know. I know. I used to ride in similar stuff like that, and then when I started riding in this, I was like, oh, this is actually what it's meant to be like.
Oh, right.
So yeah, I'll send you some links.
You could even
all right.
you could even hit up like Salvos or like Good Summies or Vinnies, like the op shops near you. They always have like old kit. There's so much
Yeah.
old
Right.
kit there that's super cheap.
To be fair,
So-
I actually do have one cycling kit that I just cannot find. Like I wore it like last time I went for a ride, and it's just fucking gone somewhere. So
I'll
I
get
will
it.
find it.
All right, guys, I'm stopping.